Happy New Year, everyone. I hope your new year was safe and fun, and I wish you all the best for this year because it is going to be a good year. I can feel it. This week is question and answer week again, and I am going to be answering three questions for you. The first one I'm going to answer is one that was sent to me ages ago, and I really do apologize for just getting to it now. I have no excuse at all. It's a very, very long message, so I'll abbreviate. Basically, this girl's writing to say that she's just moved to live with her dad and she's just started at a new school and she's really, really nervous because she's fat. And she talks about how she's really scared that she won't make any friends and that because she's the fat girl, she tends to overcompensate for things. She has to make sure her hair looks really good, her dress, what she's wearing is perfect because she feels like the last thing she needs is to be made fun of for anything extra. And she, I guess, just wants me to give her some advice about what I think she has to do. Firstly, I'm very, very sorry to have to tell you this, but it doesn't matter how good you look. The fact that you are fat will make people judge you and make fun of you no matter what. That is what they care about. They don't care about how expensive your bag is. They don't care how good your hair looks. All they see for the most part is a fat person. Now, this is at its absolute worst when you're in high school. Once you get out of high school and start kind of living life and you've got a job and you've finished university, it won't be as bad. You will always come across people who think this, but it won't be as bad. And I guess the only real advice I can give you is to just accept the fact, which you have. I know that you've written to me before and I've answered one of your questions before. You've accepted the fact, right? And I know that it's only because you're at a new school and you have to start all over again. You need to accept the fact. You need to not sorry, I've got lots of people in my house at the moment. You need to put on your suit of armor every day. You need to realize that what they're telling you, if they're calling you fat, is the truth, and that it shouldn't be considered, you should not consider it a put down because it's the truth. You know what I mean? That's the thing. The second piece of advice that I have for you has nothing to do with your weight, but it's about you finding at least just one person who will be there for you. You only need one person in your high school life to kind of, get you through it. If you can find more, then that's awesome. But if you only have one person, at least you have one person. So confide in that person, find strength in that person, and be there for that person too. Because the relationships that you have in high school, you'll realize as you get older that the ones that hurt you, they don't matter, but the ones that you were close to will mean the world to you even when you're 30. Okay, so the next question is one that was posted on Formspring, and it says, um, how have past romantic relationships affected the way you feel about yourself and how you feel about your current relationships? Okay, so I definitely can't speak for everyone when I say this, but it did help me on my fat acceptance journey. I really honestly felt like I was worthless. I wanted to feel beautiful and even though I knew that I was this kind of great person, I really just did not feel like I was a beautiful person. And I met a guy online and we flirted and talked for a long time and then we met up in real life and I saw in his eyes just how he wasn't disgusted the first time he saw me. He was so accepting, and it made me start to wonder whether or not all these things that I was feeling, all these negative things that I was feeling about myself, whether or not they were just, it was conditioning from the years and years of just media telling me that I was crap because I was fat and my mother saying that I was crap because I wasn't thin like my sisters and or my friends who were thin and beautiful and I wasn't and they were all in relationships. And so, personally, for me, when I realized that there was this one person who saw me and thought of me as a beautiful, inside and out, a beautiful person, it made me go, fuck, if I can find one person out there who thinks I'm beautiful, there must be at least another 100,000, 10,000, whatever. And it really did help me, But back then, when I was in that relationship, I was still very, very, I didn't like talking about my weight, even with him. I still did not like the word fat and all this kind of thing. So there was a lot of work, but he did definitely help me begin my self acceptance. Um, and it wasn't until my partner now, um, you know, it's only been now, recently, actually within like the last year, that we can joke about my weight and he can call me a fatty or fat or whatever, and I will laugh about it as opposed to feel so hurt and so offended, you know. But yeah, it really has helped me. I don't think that it should be the be all and end all of fat acceptance and self acceptance. I don't think you should definitely what's the word that I'm looking for? You should definitely not um, measure your worth by the men that like you, or the people that are attracted to you. Um, but I'm not gonna lie, that is something that did help me. Last question is from a really dear friend of mine called Danielle, and she has written, so, I was wondering how you all deal with people in your everyday life seeing some of the content you post on the web. I tend to be super insecure and inhibited because I'm finding more and more people I know seeing some of the things I post online, which is why I didn't just write on your Facebook wall. I remember when MySpace first came out and I was able to find some of my old friends and acquaintances on there, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Now, everyone and their mother has a Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, etc. I'm just bothered because I'm letting myself be insecure about this. It's like I need to uphold a certain image amongst people who once knew me and or family members. For me, I have never had a major issue with it. I guess the way I see it is that if they find it, they find it, and we deal with it when we get there. And if they don't find it, awesome, It's just gotten to the point where I kind of think, I am my own person, I have my own opinions. And if people ask me for my opinion, I'm quite willing to tell you what it is. And I shouldn't have to feel guilty or ashamed or whatever, it does help that I have always been a very open person. I'm quite happy to tell people my issues and talk about things like sex or emotions, and I've always been quite open about stuff like that. So it's been quite easy for me in that sense. Um, of course, it would be much more difficult if you weren't so good at well, not so good, but you weren't so comfortable with sharing really, I guess, intimate parts of yourself that make you feel vulnerable. But I just over the years, I've been doing this for years now. So I guess for me, it's always been such an easy thing. There was once when I actually had a major issue with one of my elder sisters, and I made a video about it and bitched about her. It wasn't that bad, but obviously when you come across a video that's all about how upset someone is about you, it's a shock to the system. And so she was very, very upset, and I ended up taking it down. But for the most part, I'm not hurting anyone else, and even if it's just my opinion, I'm quite happy to give it. I do worry about my parents, especially my mother, because she is she's quite is not the word. She is a very, very religious person. So I do worry that one day she's going to find one of my videos where I talk about sex or, talk about my partner's cock, all these kinds of things, which I have done in the past. But the way like I said, I'm my own person. She's brought me up as well as she could, and now it's my turn to kind of take what she's taught me and put my spin on it. So yeah, so that's it from me. I hope that I answered the questions to your satisfaction. Um, and yeah, again, Happy New Year. Take care of yourself. And please ask more questions because we're always going to be doing Q&As. So please ask more questions and hopefully we will answer them the next time we do this.